Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Emmanuel Sotande, it's my name. I work for Nigeria Financial Intelligence Unit in Abuja. I want to thank Professor Barry Ryder for the opportunity he gave to me to make this brief presentation on how to combat COVID-19 corruption in Africa. It is unfortunate that we cannot meet this year at the prestigious Cambridge International Symposium on Economic Crime, but I hope my discussion today will prepare your mind towards what we are going to be looking at in 2021 September in Jesus College. We give a brief background about the COVID-19 corruption in Africa and what are the basic vulnerabilities and what do we need to do to combat COVID-19 corruption in Africa. For example, if you look at the African continent, we have Nigeria in the west, which is the largest African nation, in the world. Now we have the Federal Republic, the federal government of Nigeria make a budget of 5.9 billion US dollar as a stimulus plan to reduce COVID-19 hardship in Nigeria. Now, if you talk about $5.9 billion as a stimulus plan for the most populous African country in the world. That might look very small, but nonetheless, how much of this fund get to the people who are supposed to be really kind of relieved from the COVID-19 pandemic? That takes me to current the Senate committee that's currently they are actually reviewing misappropriation of 3.8 billion of 5.9 billion. That's more than 60% of the fund that was actually earmarked for COVID-19 palliative in Nigeria. So if you go to South Africa, we also see issue around abuse of contract fraud by political exposed person around COVID-19 palliatives. And this is very, very big problem that we need to look at in terms of how do we combat the COVID-19 corruption in Africa. I go to Kenya. The World Bank donates about $9.3 million to assist the Kenya government around the COVID-19 pandemic and to reduce the burden of Kenyan people. I bet you 50% of this fund has actually gone by way of political looting. Political exposed persons in that country are also being indicted for looting the fund that is meant for Kenyan people in terms of palliative to reduce the economic hardship, which is the consequence of COVID-19 phenomenon in Kenya. So, what are the vulnerabilities that we see in African states around COVID-19 corruption? The number one vulnerability is the economic hardship. Because of the economic hardship of the people, then there is need to provide fund to reduce the COVID-19 COVID-19 problems and challenges. So the political exposed persons are now using a fund that is meant for as a stimulus package to reduce the burden of COVID-19. They are diverting this fund into their private accounts in Save Haven. And how do they do this? Cash-based economy. Africa is a cash-based economy. So the consequence of cash-based economy, they take this fund out of the government account and they will take it to the bureau de change to convert this fund into foreign currency. And these foreign currency are now kind of smuggled to several companies. So that's it. Cash-based economy. Another gap which we also see is the terrorism and insecurity of many terrorism and insecurity that exists in many African countries. So because of terrorism, people who are supposed to be given palliatives, the government could not reach to them, and these funds are now become idle. So what they do with the fund, they take it to their pockets. They take the fund to their pocket. That's critical. Institutional corruption is also what we have traced to a couple of institutions meant to support palliatives are actually sharing this fund within their staff. Don't say I said that, but there are evidence of 1.9 billion naira of funds which is supposed to be palliative fund being shared by agency in Nigeria who's supposed to share this fund to the people who are suffering. So institutional corruption is critical. Deficit of financial inclusion is also one of the gap. What are the future thoughts in combating COVID-19 corruption in Africa? We think we need to have improved financial inclusion in Africa. So financial products need to be extended to rural areas where we do not have financial services. If financial products are extended to the rural area, then the palliative that is coming in form of cash can be shared by adapting the use of financial services instead of sharing it sharing of cash to the people who are worried. Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit also have their role. So what we're saying now is FIU within the region, we need to come up with a framework of how do we share intelligence around COVID-19 corruption among the law enforcement agency and also other competent authorities. Law enforcement collaboration is critical because you see they need to come together in order to put end to the COVID-19 corruption. It is very important to mention that even though civil society organization need to do advocacy, and it is important to note that we're going to continue to see the challenge, but multi-dimensional approach should be what the African state should be looking at in combating COVID-19 corruption. The last but not the least is to improve the African criminal justice system so that offenders found wanting should be tried and should be sentenced for giving appropriate sentencing for violating COVID-19 or for misappropriation of COVID-19 fund. Thank you very much, and I thank Professor Barry Ryder for the wonderful opportunity granted to me to make a presentation. See you in Jesus College in September 2021. Bye.